Go. This is an article from Independent. How a U.S. blockade near the Strait of Hormuz could work and the impact ahead for the global economy. A blockade of Iranian ports that President Donald Trump said began Monday could further disrupt oil prices, has spurred questions about international law, and leaves doubts about whether the pressure tactic would force Tehran to reopen the vital Strait of Hormuz. Trump threatened to impose the blockade after talks to further a fragile ceasefire ended without a deal this past weekend. Iran had previously halted nearly all the tanker traffic through the key waterway, allowing only some ships perceived as friendly to pass while charging considerable fees. Enforcing the blockade is likely to demand significant resources from the United States Navy and could prompt concerns about military force and international law, experts say. Supply chain analysis, meanwhile, stressed that the restrictions could undermine the flow of oil, fertilizer, food, and other goods to consumers already facing higher prices. How the U.S. could enforce a blockade of Iranian ports. Successfully enforcing the blockade will require sustained commitment of United States Navy ships and personnel, as well as a clear guidance from the Trump administration and the Navy's legal department, experts say. From a military standpoint, the biggest challenge would be enormous volume of shipping traffic transiting through the Strait of Hormuz, where nearly 20% of the world's traded oil normally passes. A considerable number of ships may be needed to enforce the restrictions, according to Siddharth Kaushal, a naval power expert at the Royal United Service Institute, a defense and security think tank in London. A lot depends on the early days of the blockade, how many vessels the Americans can seize, how much they can convince vessels attempting to slip through a cordon that they're likely to be seized, Carlos said. But in all likelihood, I say it will prove difficult for the U.S. to enforce. Right? The strait's narrow confines at least will make the geographic area a concern, a limited one, said Todd Huntley, director of Georgetown University Law Center's National Security Law Program. Still, the amount of traffic that goes through is going to be a challenge, he said. The U.S. may have to consider whether to allow humanitarian aid to reach Iranian ports, Huntley said, a decision that could determine the blockade's legality under international law. International rules also require that any nation enforcing a blockade do so impartially after issuing an advisory memorandum. Like, share, and subscribe. Thank you.